Welcome to Beaches and Matcha by Sandy Kabara, your favorite friend from down the street. I'm kidding. I don't think all of us live in the same location, but if we did, that would be really cool. I just wanted to come on here. This is the first ever podcast, so mark your calendars for May 26, 2024, the day that Beaches and Matcha was born. So you're probably wondering two things. Why Beaches and Matcha? And why are you not on a beach if you've called it Beaches and Matcha? Well, I think Beaches and Matcha are something that kind of represent who I am as a person. I consider myself a chill, laid back person who enjoys the sun, especially because my name is Sandy. I feel like it would be weird if I didn't enjoy the beach. So I feel like the beach is like my personality. And matcha, actually, for two reasons I like it. Number one, I feel like that coffee is sometimes a little bit too hard on my stomach. And number two, it is the the least artificial type of coloring in a drink. I will eat anything blue. I used to put coloring in all my cake just because I wanted it to be blue. There was blue ice cream, it was mine. And honestly, matcha is the closest thing to blue until they started putting lavender in it. Then I was like, oh my God, purple. But honestly, green is the way to go. And I'm not at a beach actually because I don't have a beach of my own. So I'm actually just here in my living room. The start, the birth, the way that we all have to hustle to, inshallah, have something big. This is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start at home, at my mother and father's house. If my mom heard that, she'd be like, this is our house. No, Mom. That is my room, but this is your house. She'd still kill me for saying that. So, everybody, why did I decide to start doing a podcast? Well, there's two things, or more ever. I love to yap. Yappa, 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 yappa. I think I enjoy talking more than anything. And sometimes I feel that I talk way too much and that I feel that people don't really care, which is totally fine. But then I was like, oh, I want to speak. And I actually do have some funny stories. And people do, I say this very lightly. I don't say that I walk around and everyone's like, oh, you're funny. No, I've gotten the compliment a few times. And I was like, if I'm funny, and I like to be in front of a camera, might as well just put it to the test. So a little bit about me, because right now I think my friends are the ones that are going to watch this, but hopefully sometimes people who are not my friends are going to see this. My name is Sandy. I grew up in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I've been here, well, not here. I grew up here for a while, and then I went to university in Switzerland, and then I came back because my dad wanted to not be very upfront about the deadline of when we needed to apply for a job, which is fine. At the end of the day, I'm happy to be here and I'm learning a lot. I work somewhere very nice and I don't think I'm ever going to say it here on camera because confidentiality, which is actually really okay. I actually love marketing. I've worked in branding at school sometimes and I've felt that it was something creative and fun and it really got the juices flowing. And actually when I was at uni, I used to always just get up on stage and talk. Whenever I could, I would just be like, give me the mic. I want to do it. And the first time I ever did it was a fashion show. I think it was 2018. It was the first fashion show that was going to be hosted at my university. Well, I feel like it's fine to say where I went. So I went to École Hôtelière de Lausanne, EHL Hospitality Business School. Name change. Happened after I left, actually. So I knew it as École Hôtelière. When I was there in 2018, I remember I talked to a friend of mine. His name was Abby. And I was telling him, I was like, Abby, I really enjoy speaking. And we were sitting in the library. He's like, Sandy, you have to go and you have to put yourself in shows. If someone has a show or something to do, you just have to go and be like, I want to be the master of ceremony. I want to be the person who's going to speak. And I took that advice and I kind of just let it sit. And then November rolled around. Abby had graduated and I still hadn't felt that I'd gotten the chance to do something like that. This fashion show came up for the arts committee and the president of that committee, Rochelle, was like, why don't you be the MC alongside your friend, Christ? And I was like, this is the perfect chance. Let us get on this stage and let's see, can I actually do it? Am I shy enough or am I bubbly enough? And lo and behold, we did it and it opened a small door of addiction. And any show after that at school, I was like, I want to be part of it. I want to be part of it. I want to be part of it. I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh, this bitch is so self-centered. All she wants to do is be in the spotlight, blah, 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 yappa, yappa, yappa. Honestly, if that's what you thought and you're watching this, nope, I could care less. I just enjoyed being on stage, having a mic in my hand. It brought some kind of like adrenaline that I really, really liked. I don't even remember seeing anyone. I actually used to hate it when someone used to come up to me after, which happened very little. I'm not saying it happened all the time. No, it happened a few times. Like if someone would be like, oh, you were great, we saw you. I could really care less. I was actually embarrassed. I just enjoyed it so much. It gave me something to look forward to. You know, some people are good at math, some people are good at, I don't know, drawing, and you know that those 3 or 2 events a semester where I got to speak in front of people and be on stage, it gave me something. It made me feel good about myself and that I'm not a lost cause when it comes to my skills. So kind of that's where my love for public speaking came, and over the years it happened more. And the one compliment that stuck actually was in 2021 when we did a live broadcast for the school. And actually I also had black hair at the time. My friend Kate was like, oh my God, when you went and you started speaking, it went from like, blah, 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 nervous to boom, straight. Looked in the camera, did it well. And honestly, yeah, since then I've been in love with doing it. I have been in fact trying to like start a podcast for the last year. And I always think to myself, like, what are you going to talk about? Like, what are you actually going to sit there for 20, 30 minutes? Maybe if you guys want to hear me talk for 40 minutes, that's totally fine. But I feel like I would run out of material for you. But I'm also not going to do that to you guys. Imagine. And what am I going to talk about? So I'm going to have 2 segments, me alone, talking about topics that are coming up that kind of relate to me, which I will get into that in a second. And the second part is like the interview aspect of my podcast, where I take people who I think are doing really cool things in Jeddah or in Spain, or who are my friends, and for now, who are my friends, and I actually think what they do in their lives is super cool. And I want to ask them about them. Of course, their career is really important. It could define who you are, but at the same time, like, also who you are defines. Like, I don't think what I do from my 9 to 5 is exactly who I am. I would feel like this right now, talking to you guys and like talking to the camera, and Zaidan, who's my editor / filmmaker, is standing in the back. Like, you know, he's using his vape and smoking and drinking his coffee, and I'm over here like, does he like it? And I'm like, that doesn't matter. It's actually what I enjoy to do. So in the interview part, I just want to know about them. I want to know who they are, like what inspired them to get there. And you know, I want to have like a fun deep talk, you know, like the ones that you can have at the beach and not yet feel that it's this like overpowering, I need to be in a suit and I need to come up with my 7 points. Like, no, at the beach, topics fly from here to there. And at the same time, you're on the beach, you're having a good time, you're getting a tan, you're wearing something cute, you're talking to fun people, and then you go home and you take a nap. And yet the conversations that you've had at the beach are quite special. I don't know. I don't know about you guys and what beaches that you go to and who you speak to, but for me, always a nice time. So that's also like beaches. It's a great place. So there's something actually that has been coming up most recently in topics. I am 100% a paranoid girl. I am paranoid. If anyone who knows me knows I am paranoid. I walk around with my keys in the middle of my knuckles, like put key 1, key 2, key 3, key 4. And if I'm somewhere I don't know, I have them in my hand and I'm ready to slash whoever wants to approach me. Whoever. I don't care. I used to live in Épelange, which is like a little city outside of Lausanne. It's not a scary place. I used to tell my father, I was like, Dad, after 9:30, if I'm leaving the school, I want to take an Uber home. I don't want to walk. I want to get on the bus. I am a nervous person. And I think like God put me in Épelange because he knew I could not. I mean, I could be in a city. I've walked around London at night by myself. I also don't like to draw attention to myself, but I am a paranoid person. I know a lot of things. For example, I don't know why I'm sharing this on the first ever episode of mine, but if a guy tells you get in his car and you don't know him, you say no. Because once you're in the car, you're dead. And if you say no, cognitively, he might actually not properly respond to that. And because in his head, you're going to say yes, because he's pointing a gun at you or a knife, or he's threatening you. So he thinks by doing that, by appearing big, you will get in. So if you say no, there's a high chance he might run away. Don't know where I know this. I think I want to say it was TikTok, but I remember it being a book that I did not read. I think I listened to it. I've also watched a lot of Criminal Minds, so I think it got me to the state of like eyes in the back of my head constantly. Except that one time I was using my Juul, and at that time my parents weren't really happy I was using a Juul, and I was walking in the bay in Porto Banús in Marbella, and my father turned out to have been following me for like a solid 10 minutes, and he's like, you didn't see me. And that is when I was like, that can never happen again. So I think that's when the eyes in the back of my head came. So why I mentioned this like paranoia, like, oh, like what's happening? Like, why are you bringing this up? Is because this new topic of, would you rather be stuck in the forest with a bear or a man? Now, the question doesn't mean me and the bear are hanging out, we're sitting, we're looking at each other, we're talking, but would you rather be in the forest with a bear or a man? And I've asked this question for a solid maybe 2 weeks now, and I noticed that the answers that I get from guys are different than girls. And my answer is, if I had a comment section or a big one, I feel like the comments would be like, man. But I did watch a video where 100% told me that like it's definitely a bear, because a bear will not act differently if he knows nobody's watching. A random guy, say Dan even gave me the look. He was like, what are you talking about? It's true. I mean, you don't know everyone's personal intentions. You don't know a random guy's intentions. You might not die with the man, but I don't know what's going to happen. He may be nice. I'm not telling you he's not, but that's a chance you're willing to take. Also, there are such like long protocols about like camping in bear country. Like, for example, like you have to make noise wherever you are, like keep talking. You have to, I think like you get like a specific bear spray, you get a ringer. Like there are protocols to take. So like statistically, there are things that are lined up and ready to go for prevention of a bear attack. So you already are prepared for prevention. But with a man, I feel like you could prepare so much, but the different types of outcomes or scenarios are greater. That's my opinion. Let's talk about it. That's how I see it, and that's my short answer. And you know, like I did read a statistic. Read, not look on TikTok. Read. I read it like before coming here because I was having the debate with a friend of mine, and he was like, no, it has to be a man. Like, are you crazy? So I pulled it up, and it said like 1 out of 3 women will be sexually assaulted or physically abused or something to do with a man, not necessarily someone they don't know, someone they know, someone they don't know. So like this is in the millions. Whereas there are maybe 664, I think it was that number. I'll make sure to like get my statistics right and tell you in the next episode. But it was like over 15 years, it's only like 664,000 people like over the course of 15 years, whereas it's 150 million women a year out of 1/3. So I will take the bear, but I won't provoke it. It's not like I'm going into the forest to look specifically for the bear. I mean, if I saw it from far and it didn't see me, I'll run. But if a man saw you and you were both there alone, he would definitely make eye contact with you because he's like, oh, human, civilization. Let's see. And you don't know where it's going to go from there. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. So that's me being a little bit paranoid. And that's a little bit of insight on how my brain thinks. I would love to hear what you have to think. If that's not why, like that's not what you believe and like why you shouldn't be with a bear, I'd love to hear it. But I want a real answer. So that's just me. That's like you've entered like a personal part of my life where I talk about paranoia. So a question I had on these cards, I actually wrote for a friend of mine who I asked 2 weeks ago if he could be kind of like my practice buddy. I was like, can I sit with you and we talk, like, I just want to practice. And I actually really wish he would come on the show. He just doesn't want to be filmed or he doesn't want to be on the podcast, but he is actually like a main source on why I started it. So I wanted to sit with him. And here I wrote, how do you motivate yourself to get up? And I actually like that. Like, how do you motivate yourself to get up? Honestly, what motivates me to get up today, like as of we speak today, is that I have a trainee at work that I'm helping. So I feel that if I don't show up, she has nothing to do. So I make sure that I'm there for her. But other than that, like I feel like I used to love waking up to work out, and I purposely used to put like workouts with trainers or like have a workout with a buddy specifically in the morning to force myself to get up, because if I know someone else is like waiting for me on the other side and like they're in their workout clothes, I paid them, like they've woken up at 6:30 a.m. to be there, like shout out to Leo, he used to be my trainer when I was in Marbella, and if I knew he was there, I no way could I cancel. I used to wake up at 6 easy. I used to like empty out the dishwasher and get ready. Or I used to do spinning with my roommate Phenomena, and like she would drive us, and we'd have to be there like we'd have to leave. I want to say 5:50 because the class started 6:30. Like the idea of already knowing Phenomena is awake, getting dressed, I didn't have to wait. She's probably going to comment like, "Nah, like I woke you up." No, you didn't. I know for a fact I was awake. So yeah, that's what motivates me, to know that someone else, some external presence is like waiting for me on the other side. I think it gives me motivation. What I'm going to start trying to do is try to be motivated on my own. But getting up to walk has been a struggle, I must admit. So that's where I am in my life. I'm currently 26. I live in Jeddah. I'm having a great time. Yeah, I mean, I travel a lot. If anyone here says, like my friends would hear, they'd be like, oh, having a great time, you sure? I'm like, yes. Although I take every opportunity to travel, I do enjoy it. I'm a big Jeddah girl, matchas and beaches and matcha. I love them together. I love them apart. Beaches and matcha is my aesthetic. So I hope that this journey can continue for a very long time together, and we get more and more comfortable with each other. And please, like if there's a cool topic that I can discuss in like my next solo episode, I would love to hear it from you. So, I mean, everyone have a great day, and I hope you enjoy your matcha. Remember, the only way to do it is with coconut milk.